Hello and welcome to this episode 239 of Frame and Reference. You're about to drop into a conversation between me, Kenny McMillan, and my guest cinematographer Quinn Feldman. Enjoy.
I was looking at your website and I love how it just somewhere in the middle there, under directors you've worked with, is Janusz Kaminski. I would love to know what the fuck that's about.
Yeah, right, Janusz. Well, he was my mentor. Like I
sweet.
Yeah. So I came from like I rollerbladed all my life. Mm-hmm. Like I was like really into rollerblading, and I got like so into it. I like was basically like a professional rollerblader up until like from when I was like 16 until I was like 23, and all I did was skate like all the time. I didn't do anything else. I got a camera when I was like 16 or 17, like a GL2, and I would like film my friends, and like we'd film each other for our skate sections for our like sponsors or for whatever project we were working on. Didn't think about cinematography or anything like that and stuff, which is weird too, because my father's a screenplay writer and a producer. He had a really good career in Hollywood. My uncle as well, and my grandfather was a producer in Hollywood. Like I have like a family tree, so no one below the line, but I have like a family tree of people who like were a part of like, you know, the filmmaking, you know, game. And they had careers and stuff. I just wasn't into it, you know, like I used to skate sometimes with this gaffer, Matt Ardeen. It's a really good gaffer. He does most of Larkin Siepel's work in the Daniels. And Matt, I was skating with Matt still, like, and Matt was like a solid skater and stuff. I was like just super, super into it and stuff, but we'd skate sometimes, and unbeknownst to me, like he was already like probably working with Larkin. I think Larkin at the time was actually Matt's best boy and stuff before he ended up like, you know, becoming like the DP that he is and stuff. I remember seeing Larkin's work though when I first like got into it in 2011, being like, oh, this guy's going to do well.
Yeah. And, yep.
Oh, this guy's going to do well. So I remember asking Matt, I said, oh, those Daniels guys, like, I really love that. Like, I really love that music video they did. Like, oh, I'd love to work with them, you know? And then I think from like 2011 all the way until now, they literally have not worked with anyone else. Like, it's the same exact crew, like since that time and stuff. So I never could break down those barriers and stuff. But I basically skated for a long time, and I owned a skate company, and it kind of like put on events around the world. So I have a local organizers around the world and stuff, and we'd film them. And then I would do all these different type of sections and skate videos and trick tips and day in the lives, and like had all these series and stuff. It was just like a ton of content. I didn't really think about it photographically, you know, like, right. And in retrospect, it's not really, I don't consider it like being a cinematographer. I guess you can classify it as like that sport cinematography, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to make the trick look cool.
Right.
You know, it's just, you're trying to make the coolest looking like angle to make the trick look best. You're not trying to make people feel anything. You're not saying anything really with it and stuff. You're not telling any sort of story. The story is, you know, he's doing, you know, whatever, you know, he's 540ing like the 10 flat 10. Yeah. Get the best angle of him 540ing the 10 flat 10, you know? So like, I didn't really know what it was. And then I was working at this elementary school, this private school that I went to as a kid. And like my mother was the head of admissions there, and she got me the job, and I was just doing like video work for the school, like basically just marketing videos for the school, like the kids like learning in class and stuff to show to the parents and show to prospective parents. And I was always like, I always liked cameras. I was like kind of interested. I always liked that sort of feeling of like that you get when you would watch movies, because I watched so many movies over the course of time, and you get this feeling, you know, you get this feeling from these like images and stuff. And maybe it was like the way the light was hitting, or maybe it was the music in combination. I'd have this like little like electrical shock like through my body, you know, and stuff. And so I think that was like unconsciously my first sort of glimpse into what cinematography and like what cinema in general can do for you, you know? And, you know, I'm working at the school and I'm doing this stuff, and like, I kind of get how composition works in terms of saying something with the frame. And like, I just naturally am doing OTS and stuff and like framing stuff in a certain way. And I was also doing like after school sports and games with the kiddos and stuff, and just like, you know, making sure they were entertained and they didn't kill each other basically was the job. Yep. And it so turned out that Janusz's kids were some of the kids that I was like looking after at the school. And someone was my mom actually pointed him out. She said, I think you said you want to be a cinematographer and you've been working on these like little projects at like AFI or whatever. You should talk to Janusz over there, in that car, And so I went up to Janusz's window. I think he was driving a Beamer or something. And I go up to his window. I go, hey, I know who you are. You're Janusz Kaminski, And I knew who he kind of was and stuff because, like Sawyer, Spielberg, he had went to the same elementary school. He was like a few years behind me and stuff. But as far as cinematographers actually knowing them and stuff, he was one of the ones I kind of knew. But I only recognized him and stuff because my mom was like, he's over there.
Yeah.
I went up to his window. I said, hey, I really want to be a cinematographer. I'm shooting these videos for the school. I think I had said I'm really good with camera movement because I can rollerblade with the camera, which I guess today, because I'll do it sometimes for my jobs and stuff, and I guess it is like it's a whole thing now and stuff. But I didn't know anything about camera movement at all, And so I show him my work. He goes, hey, why don't you come on set? I got this commercial, at the LA Coliseum for Panasonic, and come on set and see how you like it. And I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing about being on set. So I showed up dressed really nicely.
Good.
Dressed really nicely, had this nice leather jacket and stuff. And I'm hanging around the ACs. The first AC I was with was this guy, Jeff. And he was like, so I was like, yeah, I know a little bit about cameras, but not that much and stuff. And not any of this stuff. And I didn't know anything because a good example was Janusz was like, hey, Quinny, I'd love a cup of coffee. And so I didn't know what craft services was. Mm-hmm. I just saw craft services. It was near where the agency was, but I didn't know that I was allowed to go over there and stuff. So what I did was sprinted up the stairs of the Coliseum, out the Coliseum, across the parking lot to the food trucks outside on the sidewalk, and then demanded that they give me a cup of coffee because those were the trucks I saw coming into the job. So I assumed they were for the job. And I just demanded a cup of coffee from them and stuff. And I just thought they were part of the job. So I didn't even pay for the coffee. And they're like, we're kind of closed down and stuff, but here's a half cup of coffee.
Right.
So I run back to Janusz. I go, hey, I got your coffee, but they're closing up shop. And it takes a sip and he goes, this is really good coffee, Quinny. But next time you just go to craft services right there.
Jeez. I mean, for quote unquote mistakes, it's not terrible.
Yeah, right. In the grand scheme of things, right? Didn't cost any money and stuff, or Jeff asked me to go get the Hoodman. And I was like, and he's like, yeah, it's a little boxy thing for the monitor that looks like this, and I fucking ripped through the truck, ripped through it. And so I'm just like, where is this thing? Where's this boxy thing that goes on the monitors? And they're calling me on the walk. They're like, Quinn, where is the Hoodman? You've been back there for 20 minutes. All we need is a Hoodman. I go, I can't find it. And he comes there and he there's a card on the truck, right? And he just goes, it's right here. It says Hoodman on it. And I go, well, that's flat. That isn't the boxy thing on the monitor. Okay. So you said the boxy thing on the monitor. Oh no, that shit folds up, bro. So I knew nothing, but I was willing to work as hard as I could, which basically meant on this particular shoot, carrying the 17-inch monitor with the C stand and B and C up hundreds of stairs to wherever they were shooting at all times. And so I did that, stayed to the very end, ended up in the tent on the second day with Janusz and this DIT who's really good, Lonnie Dandler. And we leave, I kind of see him tweaking stuff in there. It was kind of right when the Epic came out. He was shooting Technocrane Epic, then they had a 100-yard dolly track with a Phantom HD Gold, and then they had another Epic. It was a big thing, and I was just thinking, wow, this seems fun. I wouldn't mind doing this. This seems like a good time and stuff. It's a nice little $7 million commercial for the weekend.
Yeah.
And I left and Janusz was just like, all right, well, I'm glad you like it, and you stayed the whole time and stuff. I have another commercial next week with with Max Winkler. You want to come on that? Came on that, did a good job on that, or didn't break anything. And he was like, all right. He's like, well, just you'll camera pay for me now, and just we make sure you get paid and stuff, and you camera pay for me. And then after about a year of that, he referred me as a DP, which I was surprised about at the time. Referred me as a DP to this like kind of director, fashion designer, Liz Goldwyn, who was Tony Goldwyn's sister, and Tony Goldwyn was like directing a commercial that Janusz was shooting. I did like an art piece for her. That was like kind of my first real project. It was like, it seemed like it was a solid budget. It was like 150 grand, like art film that she was doing, this big installation, kind of like a living old brothel. And like did that piece and then kind of just kept shooting like small stuff on the side of like camera painting for Janusz. And then occasionally if Janusz had like a C or a D camera, like he started letting me operate if the shots were easy enough. And then he would have me come on as like, had me come on with this New York Times project as like a C camera operator. And I did like that for like a second, and like, just like kind of gaffing, like actual sort of more real stuff on the side. But my work as a DP still sucked. Like I was like always find taste, you know, to be like a really important thing. And I would look at Janusz's work and I would look at my work and I'd be like, why does my work suck in comparison to Janusz, you know?
Don't we all? I think we've all had that question.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, and like the thing is, I think maybe we've all, in terms of like our community of like DPs that works like in these worlds and stuff where people spend significant money doing these projects, right? If you actually think of the grand scheme of like how many people want to be filmmakers, how many people like aspirations are doing stuff, like most of them, a lot of those people don't ever look at their work and be like, and reflect on it. And I constantly was just looking at my work and being like, my work sucks. You know, like my work is just like not good. Cause I remember hitting up Vincent Haycock on Instagram. Like I was like, oh, I'd really love to work with you. It'd be so awesome to work with you, and not getting a response and stuff. And then looking at my work and going, why in the fuck would he hire me? Like what's in it for him? You know, like I don't bring any value to him and stuff. It's like, yeah, I really want to work with him and stuff, but it's just risk for him. Like, you know, so I just didn't hear back from him. And the projects I was doing and the directors I was working with at the time, like in my first sort of like 4 years, a lot of them cared more about just being seen as directors on Instagram and like Facebook. And they didn't really care about the work. And I only cared about the work. I wanted the work to be like so good that like, if my name was mentioned, it was because the work was good, not because I like was seen doing the work, you know, and like not seeing that like the finished product. And so I did like these projects with these directors and stuff. And I was just like, my work should like, I should be able to like produce a really nice portrait close up, and it should be able to be like in the same league of Janusz. It should be able to be in the same sort of realm and stuff. Cause he may have like $500,000 lighting packages sometimes, but I don't need a $500,000 lighting package to make a close up look good. I just need to like figure out how to do it. I need to like figure out the technique and like the creative endeavor and stuff to make it look a certain way and make people feel something from the shot. And I started noticing like glimpses of that, you know, like 3 to 4 years in. And I'd show it to Janusz, and he never thought that they were very good and stuff, which is fair. You know, like he basically like would either just text me, okay, and then nothing else. Or he would critique me and say like, and he would give me one line and stuff. I remember I had a project like 5 years ago I sent to him, and he was like, horrible composition here, Quinny. Like, pick a fucking horizon. Like, either pick the ground or pick the sky. Like, make up your mind.
Right.
You know, and stuff. And would kind of like critique me, which was nice of him to critique me. Like, it was nice of him to take the time to watch and stuff. And I was looking for like, and I knew like once I did a project that he was impressed by and stuff, like it would be a big day because he would be honest about it. But I stopped working with basically all those directors. And Janusz was always shooting on film. And so I decided like, I want to shoot on film too. I don't care like that everyone's shooting digital. I want to shoot on film. It was like 2016. And I did this little music video on Super 16. I just like loaded and shot it myself. Like I had a focus puller, but I mean like basically like the night sequences, like I was like lit at like a 5.6 under these like lights and stuff. And then I was like, you know, shooting at like a T22, you know, for the daylight stuff. So I was like, we really need a focus puller really like for this, like these zoom things and stuff. It turned out like, I loved how it turned out. And I was like, I'm going to do my own documentary series on film. And I'm going to like, I made it, it was called Beautiful's Future. And it basically went to different types of people and different types of couples from different cultures and like asked them what their definition of beauty was in their lives. And it basically like gave me a way of doing what I wanted visually, like shooting on different formats of film, and experimenting with that visually, and like getting like people to talk about something that was like emotionally like visceral and close to them. So it wasn't like a hardcore narrative, and I was focusing more on the visuals themselves and building those, but it gave me an opportunity to do something that I could control the outcome. Yeah. And so I did that, and Kodak had hit me up to release it on their page when they just had started putting people's work like on their Instagrams, on their socials. And they posted that, and then Film Supply like hit me up and was like, hey, we'd love to like rep you for, you know, licensing and stuff because we really like that documentary. And then I had a Vincent Haycock after this like little music video. I had some of these like rare Super 16 anamorphics from Panavision that at the time were like off menu anamorphics. And I hit Vincent Haycock up and I got a response, you know, and it was a moment, like it was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like in London, but he was like, I'd love to do something sometime. You know, I wish I was there and stuff. Like I would totally go and just shoot something and stuff. But it was nice, like to like have like 3 years earlier, me hit up someone whose work I really liked and come to the realization that my work's not good enough for him to, it's not waste his time for him to like risk anything with his career. I'm not adding any value. You know, right. I have the aspirations to do it and stuff, but I'm not adding any value. And then like 5 years in, 6 years in, like going like and just DPing and being like, okay, like now I know my work is good. I'm not questioning my work and no one else is questioning my work. And like, that's when like I kind of started like being to like be a DP and stuff. And it wasn't until about 2021, I did this music video on Super 16 anamorphic for Grace and Chance. That was the first compliment I ever got from Janusz. I got like, he like was like, well, this is just beautiful work. This is just absolutely beautiful work. Everything works. Everything is just beautiful, Quinny and stuff. I almost cried. Like, because it was 10 years, you know, since I had met Janusz. And then that was the first genuine like compliment stuff. Cause he sees so much work and people are always asking for his opinion. So I knew his opinion was real right. When he like finally like, you know, had a very positive review about a project that I did. And you know, that's how I know Janusz and stuff. And I'd done some like, some job with him like about a year ago with some other people and stuff, just like Scorsese. Directed like long form like doc, and like he had brought everyone out to shoot this like concert thing. So it was like I had this crazy 75-pound like handheld rig, like deadlifting, shooting like portraits of Eric Clapton while like Mitch Dubin was like on a techno crane and Mari Fiore was on another techno crane and Polly Morgan was on a fucking dolly, and like it was just like this huge gigantic thing. Janusz screaming at everyone. You know, but it's but that's the Janusz story and stuff. So I mean, like technically, yeah, like I put Janusz on there and stuff because technically I did like do some second unit stuff that he was like directing and DPing like during my time with him and stuff, like just kind of like you know, secretively like doing it and stuff. But like that's why he's on there, you know.
Gotcha. What do you think about your work well, so before I get to that, I was just rereading Masters of Light. You know, the interviews with DPs, and I think it was the chapter where of the dude who shot Jaws, John something, where he was saying that like you have to be your worst critic.
Yeah,
where it's I remember highlighting like the whole fucking paragraph because he was just like, you know, no one cares. It's either good or it's bad. And so no one's going to sit there and tell you like, oh, do this, do it. Like you have to be the one that is the one that changes it. And so for you, what sort of, what changes were you making to that where you were going like, all right, now this is good now? Was it like strictly composition? Were you getting more into lighting? Like what were those adjustments?
I think it was the lighting thing. I think early on and stuff when I like showed Janusz my work, he said compositionally you seem to understand composition to a certain extent and stuff, but he goes, your lighting is terrible. It was terrible. I mean, lighting is really hard to do, you know? Yeah. So it was lighting. I think I noticed it. I shot this like dance, like sort of concept like film. And we had this guy walking through this hallway and I forget what we were shooting on. I think maybe we were shooting on mini S4s or something. And I saw like this like top light just sort of like soft flare into the lens in this like really beautiful way. And I just like, you just kind of knew it. Like, you know, that like you can feel it in your bones, you can feel it in your stomach, in the pit of your stomach. I kind of feel in the pit of my stomach when it happens and stuff. But it's like, that was the first moment where I was like, this is the shot right here. Like this shot just like really works. You know, this is like, and that's when I kind of knew like, now I need to find ways where I can like do this more purposefully. Like I can get this effect from the get-go and stuff, as opposed to just in the middle of a project and stuff. And that's when I started focusing much more on lighting and much more on like why I was doing things.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to like, I saw Janusz do this and stuff, I'll do it on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
You know, like where just like, it didn't really, it didn't translate as well. Cause I didn't know how to manipulate it, you know? And it was like, and that's like, and at that point it was like, I hadn't started doing like my own work really yet. I was still like doing the jobs I was doing, like corporate stuff or whatever, but I wasn't doing the jobs I really wanted to do. And it was like, I was making an okay living. Like I remember making like a pretty good living actually in the grand scheme of things as like someone in their 20 somethings. But I was like, well, if I'm just going to do this, and it's like, I'm going to do this work and stuff that I don't even find to be like creatively fulfilling or like artistic fulfilling, or I'm not even having fun doing, why not just go do any other job that makes money? Like, why not just go be a lawyer? Like if I'm really just after money, then like, why not just go do this? But I was after doing the work I wanted to do and stuff. So it was like quitting doing that stuff and not working with those directors and doing what I wanted to was a big thing. Cause you go from like, you know, whatever, 80 grand a year or something and stuff. Then all of a sudden it's like, now I got to get by on like 10 grand because I'm not making any more money and I'm spending all my money on film.
Yep.
You know, and like shooting on film and getting all these like like rare stocks off eBay and getting into that whole game. And so it's like, I'm lucky to a certain extent too, because people are always hitting me up also for like advice on Instagram, or they want me to look at their work, or they want to meet up or something. And I always give them advice, but I always say like, hey, like also keep in mind that like I'm from LA. Like I'm born and raised here. My entire family lives here. Like I'm like fourth generation here. And so I don't have like, I'm lucky enough and like self-aware enough that like I'm aware that I have some sort of safety net, you know? Yeah. Like I'm not going to be on the street. Like I could like be back with my parents, or like they could loan me money. And it's not lost upon me when I'm giving these people advice that may be from like a totally different continent and they need to make money in order to even be here, or they're on a certain visa and they have to like be able to work and stuff. So I just say like, just like my advice is coming from, this is what I would do if I was in your situation, but I can't necessarily empathize completely with your situation and stuff because I haven't lived that situation. And I had a very like different thing and stuff, you know, like on the flip side, like academia was incredibly difficult for me. School was not a happy time in my life in any way. It was like, you know, basically just 10 years of tutoring and just getting through it and stuff. I mean, like my parents took me to Mastro's for like a victory steak dinner because I got a D- in chemistry.
Shit.
You know, they're like, we cannot believe you passed. I said, I think it's because I begged my way, like on that one, you know? But, you know, so like when I found this like thing that I had like sort of a knack for that I was really interested in, you know, it was kind of a blessing because, you know, rollerblading wasn't really paying the bills. I wasn't like, I would be making some money sometimes, but I wasn't like, there's no way to make like the living like off of that. You know, it wasn't like skateboarding where there were certain people that you could make like hundreds of thousands of dollars or like, you know, millions of dollars. It just wasn't like the sport wasn't like that anymore by the time I got to a certain point. And even if it was, I wasn't like in the top 10 people. So it would have been like near impossible anyway, you know? So when I found this thing, I was really like, really blessed and happy about it.
Yeah. It is hard to give people actionable advice because everyone's situation is different. And especially in any art form, it's like, there is a reason why a lot of like the most successful artists, you know, have like rich parents or whatever it may be. It's like, cause you needed, we, at least in America, we don't have like the same type of, artist grants and stuff that like even Canada has, where they'll be like, yeah, we'll just find some cool artists and give them, you know, France, they'll be like, well, just give them like $10,000 to shoot a short. Like,
the governments are like, we want the art. We want like artists to thrive. No, it's not. We want artists to thrive here if you're making a ton of money because it's capitalism all the way and stuff. And if you don't, then, you know, we don't really care. Like, it's not really not really our problem.
Yeah.
A totally different thing.
To your point about the rollerblading thing, my buddy from I grew up in the Bay Area, and back home he became he still is a relatively successful skateboarder. His name's Walker Ryan, and he found an old, like, I don't know what you would call it, reward sheet from his sponsor. And it was, I think it was like his skateboard sponsor. And it was like how much they would give for placement in every magazine. So it'd be like, Thrasher cover, $1,500, 2-page spread, $500, like whatever. And then smaller magazines would get less and less and less. And then at the bottom, it says video/web, 0. And it's like, damn, things have changed.
Yeah, right.
And of course, the shoe or whatever had to be like dead center, right? If it was like somewhat in the shot, it didn't count.
Shit, I would love to even be in that world and stuff. I was like, you do well. Like my sponsor, it was easy to do with my sponsors, like my shop sponsor, like, because I liked wearing skates down until there was fucking holes in them. I don't know what it was. I just liked it.
That's very hockey player of you.
I would get like new pair of skates like every fucking like 3 years. I didn't care. It cost them almost nothing, and I would skate all the time, film all the time. So yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, the money thing is so low, like in rollerblading at that point, like, and it still is now. Like, I'll rollerblade like 30 miles or something just like as a workout, but I'm not jumping on rails anymore. It's just not, it's not my life anymore. I did it once, like not too long ago, and I just like remembered like grinding the rail, just being like, I'm just scared.
Yeah, that's enough.
Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like terrified that if I fall, I'm not going to be able to do all the other stuff I love. When back in the day, I was like, I only love this. I don't give a fuck if I fall.
Right.
Dude, so
I was just, I've snowboarded my whole life, and I, this past winter, I never fall. Like I'll like, I'll fall down technically, but it's not like a crash.
Yeah.
And the winter was terrible this year, and we were in Steamboat, and it was just all ice. And I don't know if you've ever snowboarded, but when you see ice, it's like better to just go fast. If you start trying to manipulate it, So I'm just hauling ass, and the second I hit shadow, I can't see anything, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then the second I thought, uh-oh, I like caught an edge and just like I was spinning on the ground like nose over tail so much that I had enough time to think, wow, this is a long fall. Like like I had a fully complete sentence in my head, like, I wonder when this is gonna end. And like pulled my hip out of the joint, I'm pretty sure, because I couldn't walk for like 3 days. And then when that healed, I could tell that I had like a bruised or cracked rib. And I was just,
that's a bummer.
And I'm like 36 years old, and I'm like, okay, I should not go out on shitty. I think I get it. Like when old heads are like, no, I'm not going out today. And you're like, come on, we're only here for a weekend or whatever. And they're like, no,
I know.
You just got to look at the conditions and be like, no, that's going to kill me, actually.
I had this, like, dude, I got hurt snowboarding last year, actually. Like it was like snowing pretty heavily. I'm like, also like I'm pretty activities driven. Like I like traveling around. Like I'll go play beach volleyball for like 8 hours still, like on days off, like, I'll go surf and stuff. But like, some of my surf friends will be like, oh, yo, it's 10 feet at county line. I'll be like, all right, well, awesome. Have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going out, but it's 10 feet. Like I'm out there, like trying to like catch a good ride, not like feeling like I'm out there in survival mode.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do. And same thing with snowboarding. Like I'll rock a black diamond or something, like, and I'll have a good time on that and stuff. I'm not doing jumps. Like I already had my days of doing incredibly dangerous shit, and like that being my whole entire life. Like now I just want to do things like, and when I get to a certain point of things, honestly, I usually like stop doing that thing and like go pick up something else. I actually kind of like being bad at stuff now, because when you're bad at something, you can feel the progression like really highly, but once you start getting good at it, that progression is very incremental
and way more difficult. And
like, I don't have the same, like, I don't have the guts to just have the same sort of like, I don't give a fuck, you know, like, let's just do this. I remember like my friend Ted, who is like a really good snowboard instructor in Mammoth, took me on a double black diamond. And I told him the whole time, I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this run. Please do not make me do this run. And we get on this double black diamond, like one of those things, like with those huge moguls and cliffs on both sides below the chairlift that almost no one's on. And of course it's icy as shit. And I'm like, I hate you, Ted. Like I have no way of getting down this thing. Like, and he goes, yeah, this is worse than I looked from the chairlift. And I go, but even if it was the best possible thing, I don't want to be here. Like, this is not where I want to be. I'm on vacation and I'm stuck on a mountain now and I'm going to have to like, basically like get frostbite on my ass in order to like get down this hill.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love like trying new things and like, I love going snowboarding and stuff, but yeah, I caught an edge last year and stuff. And I just came and just whiplashed myself. I thought I was fucked up for about 2 weeks. Luckily I was only fucked up for 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's a good concussion.
Oh yeah.
Scorpion. Yeah. Luckily, like I said, I've been doing it my whole life. So like terrain doesn't, I can pretty much, I don't do jumps anymore for sure. Like I'll hit a rail a small jump, you know, like a side hit or something, but certainly not. Like jumps.
Yeah, but that's different. Like you're like, you know it the same way I know rollerblading. Like, well, if I like have walking. To like, yeah, it's like walking. Like I can like I had a 435 like last year at one point and stuff, and I'm tracking with it and stuff like backwards downstairs because it's just like it'd be easier. Like it'd be harder to walk backwards down these stairs.
Yeah. I saw a clip on your Instagram of you like skating backwards, tracking someone, I think down like a hill. And my first thought was like, were you pissed when you saw that winning time back behind the scenes footage and you're like, that could have been me?
Oh no, I'm not Todd. Todd's a friend. I love Todd Von Hansel. Like he's a good dude and stuff. I like John too. I kind of grew up skating with John in a way. He's from not Buffalo, Rochester, I think. He's from Rochester, isn't he? I don't know. He's from upstate somewhere. But that's like his thing. Like he loves to do that stuff. You know, like he's like a stunt man like some of the time, and then he's a camera operator some of the time, and like he's an actor some of the time. Like that's kind of like his world and stuff. And he I was hyped to see him do it on Winning Man and stuff. Our Winning Time. I would have done it, I guess, but at the same time, like I really like being a DP. Like I have no aspirations to direct. Like occasionally I'll direct and DP like my own projects just like because I want to make something. But like as far as like as a career or like doing like jobs, like I just want to DP. I don't want to do anything else. Like I have no sort of desire to do anything else. If I'm going to rollerblade operate, honestly, like I'll do it because I'm one of the guys who could like drop in like backwards into a skate park and stuff and doesn't really have like an issue, you know?
Right.
There's a couple of us, like me and John, like this other guy, Sam Law, like used to skate as well. He can do it as a Steadicam operator, but there's not, generally speaking, a lot of people that can do that and stuff. So occasionally I might do it, but honestly, it's mostly like when I'm already DPing, production will tack on. Like I did a Noble commercial. I did some rollerblading shots. They tacked on like extra couple grand, and I like, you know, I rollerblade operate. Didn't need to hire anyone else.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But,
you know, earlier,
but no, John's dope. John likes it really dope.
Earlier, you had mentioned, you know, the doing the work versus being seen doing the work. But in today's world, it does feel like, you know, first it was actors needed 50,000 followers, and now it's like every, you know, and I was wondering what, how that, like having especially I think having an Instagram that's full of celluloid film, you know, how much that has affected the work that you get. Like how much, obviously your portfolio is great, but how much effect does that actually have on your job gettingness?
A ton.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, a ton. But I think I started posting like BTS and like stuff of gear, you know, about like a year and a half ago. I didn't think much of it. Like, I guess I was like so like sort of just enjoying the moment of the process. Because that's like a big thing for me, is like being in the moment, enjoying like where you are and like the thing you're doing and not thinking about the next thing. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the end product of the actual like stuff. And then like if I was posting that stuff, it was because it was the end product, you know, and that was like the thing. But I posted like some BTS of some like cool rigs that I had done because I just thought they were cool. And yeah, I mean, like they just got hit up a ton and like reshared a ton. And so I was just like, well, I guess people like it. So I guess I'll share some of this stuff on Instagram. And it does get you noticed by, other directors and other producers. And, in a way and stuff, they're looking at it also from the point of view like, oh, he's done the thing that I think we're going to want to do on this project. And like, I know he's done the thing and stuff because I don't have to guess it just from the work. I can look at like, because there's all this BTS stuff and all this different stuff like that. And then also the same thing with Film Supply, like, like Film Supply has been great because, they sell footage and stuff and, I make money off that, but it's actually like motivated me to just try stuff that quite frankly, I probably wouldn't be able to try on like commercials or, like music videos for the most part and stuff until I have like proof of it and stuff. So it's like, if I tell,
right,
the production or whatever, the agency and stuff like, yeah, let's flash the mag. Like I'll open up the mag, and flash the film a little bit and stuff and close
like
it.
You're
and
what?
And they'll be like, not on our fucking dime. You won't.
Right.
But if I can be like, they can be like, well, what is it going to look like and stuff? Now I can just be like, well, it looks like this. This is what I did it. Like, this is what it is and stuff. And I know it's going to look like this. And then it gives me like, a leg up and stuff. Like when they can go on my Instagram and be like, oh, okay, this is what it's going to look like when because he wants to push, whatever, 16 millimeter 3 stops or something, I just try different stuff. Like I'm always like trying to build the image in different ways. And like, I want to give each project its own identity. I don't necessarily I don't want one project to be exactly like the next, I always want like some sort of unique element for each one and stuff. Cause every director has like their own voice and stuff. And I know they're coming to me for a reason, but I try to I want to adapt to each project and I want to adapt to each director. I want to bringing your style into it and stuff is always going to be there. You're always going to bring a little bit of yourself into it. There's no escaping yourself. It's always going to be there, and that's great. But I really like to try to find ways like unique ways of like building the image or telling the story when it kind of works. And I think like kind of posting like that stuff, I think it does help overall. It's not necessarily something that I think is like the best thing for like that you have to be able to you have to have a big Instagram following, because it's not really what it's not really what defines good work. There's a lot of people with big Instagram followings and stuff that have shitty work, but it's like, I find that people do react to it and stuff. And I have gotten jobs from it before. So I'm not going to not do it and stuff. And I've met some really good directors and some really good people, like when they noticed, I put like a broadcast zoom on, a 35 mil camera. They're like, I saw that shot. That was really great. And then I saw the shot and it worked really well. And I was like, and it kind of excites me. Some of that stuff excites me because I love that setup. Like my ACs fucking despise that setup.
Sure. Yeah.
But I love that setup. That combination is so cool because you have this broadcast zoom that's used to shoot football games. The glass has no look to it at all. It's just crazy, crazy sharp glass with no look. But then you're putting on 35 millimeter that has inherently a softer look. And you literally you go to the end of this thing with the doubler. You got a 3000 mil on a portrait of someone's face and it's totally sharp. Yeah. And the image isn't the image is resolving perfectly. Something that you could never get on say whatever, a long range zoom or whatever with a doubler on it. Angenu zoom or even Panavision zoom. I shot with the 42 to 425 on this Black Keys thing a while back and we had a doubler on it and stuff. And at the end of it and stuff, it's it was unusable.
Yeah.
Because it's just so soft, because that glass has a great look, but if you're at the end of these lenses and stuff to go from a 3000 mil out to a 16 mil or something, it's just not possible, And Greg Hunt, the director, because originally we were going to use that 50 to 1000 Canon zoom, which is a good lens in its own right. But he was like, if this is as wide as we can get, this isn't going to work and stuff. And I said, well, we only got one option. I've never done it before, but I know you can do it. And we got to put one of those broadcast zooms on.
And those things are cheap.
And it kind of came to be. Oh yeah, super cheap. Yeah. Super cheap. Yeah. I think it was $3,500 a day for one of those things.
That checks out.
Yeah, but it was this is a beautiful combination. It was one of my favorite combinations, even though it's a 60-pound lens. It just, it turned out really pretty, and it was something that Greg actually had suggested to the agency, and he kind of came up with it, and we did those wonders, and then like from all the Adidas like campaigns in the past year and stuff, they started doing these long zoom wonders and stuff. And I have to attribute it to Greg, coming up with that idea, and me just wanting to be like, yeah, that's exactly what I've always wanted to do, something like that.
It is funny how I don't think a lot of people understand that the whole like reason we have all these crazy sharp lenses is because people were still shooting film, because like that you can see like the sharpness curve. The second digital came out, everyone was like detune.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's why they stopped making because Panavision has these D series anamorphics that they didn't complete. Basically, there's a 40 mil and a 50 mil. I think that 40 mil is actually like one of the best anamorphic lenses ever made. I don't even get it how it has the specs that it has, and it can be that small. We were using it when we were prepping for this film called Lips Like Sugar. It ended up not coming through, but we were doing like camera tests and we were testing those lenses. And I was like, how come they never finish the D series? How come and it's because after the C series came out and they were working on the D series, cinematographers like, yo, we want sharper anamorphics. We need sharper anamorphics with that, like have faster T-stops so we can actually shoot at and stuff so we can resolve on the big screen. And I was like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense because the E series are significantly sharper than the C series.
Yeah.
And so it started to and that's why, and it's like, I guess I knew it like before that, but I also was just like, oh, bummer. Like, cause those D series are fucking sick.
Yeah. Well, at least you know that, because then, I feel like nowadays, especially, everyone's got to have something that they can, that like little, not secret sauce necessarily, but just something that they can be like, I know the solution, versus that era of like everyone shooting Alexa Mini with the cooks. It's like that SpongeBob meme, like, oh, adventurous today, are we? Do you?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it.
I was going to say, do you find that shooting? This is kind of another jobs question, but like, I went to this New York Film Academy like summer program when I was a teenager, and they had us. Yeah, and they had us all shooting 16 because this was like 2008 maybe.
Lucky you.
It was great. No, I mean, like learning on 16 was phenomenal, and I met all these amazing people, many of whom are successful in their own fields. But one of the guys there was this dude Todd Martin, who now shoots
I know who he
only
is.
film. Yeah, and I was like, shit. Like looking back on it, I was like, they taught us how to shoot film, and then we all went to college and shot DVXs. And it like I haven't talked to Todd in a really long time, but like it seems like he went like, they taught me film, I'm going to shoot film. He was also very good. Like we all shot stuff and it looked fine. His stuff did look better.
Todd's work is like freaking incredible.
Yeah. And so he definitely had like, he knew what he was doing. But I'm wondering from your perspective, like, does being a sort of quote unquote film cinematographer, I guess for lack of a better term, like help you jump the line? Like, do people only hire you to shoot film? Do you feel like people, they see that and they go, oh, he's like a real DP, Yeah,
no, I mean, I shoot film probably on like half my jobs per year. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less.
And you own your own package, right?
I do own a couple packages. Yeah. I do own a couple packages, but I mean, typically like it's weird. I'm either shooting film on a very like well budgeted project, or I'm shooting film on a really under budgeted project.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of how it is. So I think film has a really special place in my heart. I mean, like I think there's all these different like reasons that people shoot film. They shoot it for one reason or another based off the project. I do the same. The general reason of why everyone's so attracted to film, or why audiences just feel a certain way when they're watching film, is because we as like human beings, as a civilization, like film is what's documented our existence for the past like over 100 years, way before digital was even a thing. If film was never a thing and digital was a thing the whole entire time, we'd probably have this like attachment to digital, and we'd like film would have come out and been like, oh, this is cool, but it's really hard. It's kind of cool, I guess.
Looks blurry.
It'd be like this whole thing. Yeah, right. And so like that's why we're attached to it. So it's like when I think like, oh, I want something to be more romantic and stuff, and so I want to shoot it on, 16 mil, or I want to shoot on 3 perf or something. It's like the detail, or like the reason of like to romanticize it is because I'm thinking about like some sort of thing I saw like a while ago romantically, or some memory of like romance in my life and stuff. And it's coming up as a film strip, basically, like in my head, or like I'm seeing it like back in the day in old movies, and like it's on film. And so that's why shooting on film is still like so effective for audiences, and so effective storytelling wise and stuff. It simply comes from the fact that like we as humans experience all these different emotions, and all these different emotions were documented on film.
Yeah.
And thus, when we want to express a certain emotion and a certain reason for shooting a project on film, we're reaching back to like, these memories and stuff that we like, basically took in on celluloid. And so I think that like with film, you can do a lot more. You can manipulate a lot more. It gives you a much more like visceral feeling. But I think digital is awesome too. And you can do a lot of stuff digitally. And I shoot digital all the time. And I never want a director to not hire me because we have to shoot digital, like because we can still like do some great things digitally. It's like, I will say though, I get asked to make digital look like film all the time. I never get asked to make film look like digital.
Right.
And that's kind of like what I stand by, is like, no one's saying to me like, hey, we got to overexpose this negative and pull some stops. I don't want to see any grain, and I want the cut. Like I need this to feel like we shoot on Alexa. No one would ever say that, It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm like, or at least I haven't come across it. So, but I mean, I think for me, like, there's so many different formats of film. There's not like a bunch of different formats of digital, really. I mean, there's like a couple, but it's all based off of film. It's like Super 35 sensor, a full frame sensor, VistaVision sensor. It's like, it all comes from film. I just think there's more things to do on the negative in film, and I think you can get a really clean 16 millimeter image. You just have to know how to expose the stock correctly, or like you need to know what are going to do in the lab, and like, or like I think about like, okay, if this is going to be just shown on Instagram and stuff, and we really want people to feel it and stuff, then maybe it's worthwhile to like shoot it on 500 the whole entire time on 16 and push one stop and bring the grain out a little bit more so the grain can be felt, because Instagram's algorithm is going to compress the grain a certain way and stuff. And if we push it a little bit and stuff, that grain will actually come out a little bit more. It won't get compressed and start to like band or something, We just have to treat it a certain way. I think that film like touches people a lot more in the digital age.
Yeah. Well, and something I've noticed too, to your point about like romanticism, is I think for those of us who are, older than the kids, we think of film, but I'm seeing more and more and more people like buying, like VHS cameras are like expensive on eBay now. Mini DV is expensive because that's their touch point. They feel romanticism over high 8. And so, I'm starting to see it come out in ads. People they'll shoot regular Alexa, and then they'll have someone there with some mini DV camera to shoot like specialty shots or like just rando kind of B-roll. And I think it's really fast, and also kind of cool that now that you can have a digital image that is comparable to what the best film would look like, more or less, that we can choose formats to taste. And it's not like a necessity, like in the DVX days and whatever, there was no shot. It was going to, like, whenever people talk about quote unquote the film look, today, I think they're borrowing verbiage that we were using when we were trying to make tape look like film, or even early digital look like film. When we said that, we didn't mean like celluloid, we meant good. We're trying to get the film look. We just meant good, not celluloid.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I'd pump occasionally I loved it, like some of the 16 glass, like I just shot a short film and I was like, yo, I think we should shoot this in Super 16 mode, like on the mini. Like I think we should shoot Super 16 mode on the mini. I don't want to get an Alexa 35. I don't want extra range in the highlights. I want the highlights to like be on the edge of clipping. And then I'll pump the ISO. Like we'll shoot the whole thing at 1600 or more. And like, it'll look in the like sort of spirit of 16 mil, but it won't be 16 mil. And the lenses, like I own like an optics 4mm.
Nice.
So the lens I just love because it's such a crazy ass lens. I mean, there's not even a focus ring on the thing. I've had people put their nose on the glass and I can still see everything around them, you know? Yeah. And it's pretty like, as far as it's pretty rectangular lens, like, you know, for how crazy wide it is. I think it's the widest Super 16 lens that was ever made. And, you know, but I actually like that lens better, Super 16 mode on the Mini, because the lens is so low contrast, you know, that like when you actually combine it with a digital sensor, so it's awesome. The flares that I get from this thing is like, they're insane. I got it for like $4,500 from Alan Gordon. And then like the next like 2 years, people were offering me like 12 G's for it. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting rid of this thing. I mean, I want to sell it because it's good business, but there's not a shot I sell this thing ever.
Yeah.
It's just, at least until the coating wears so far down that I can't see out of it anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know when that's going to be. The flares on it like are just like, they're so beautiful. It's like, I've never seen anything even like it. There's like 2 different flares you get from the same light and stuff, depending on where the light is. And like, they're totally different. One's like a gold ring of fire that just circulars around. And then the other one's like just a nice, like sort of rainbow flare from the edge. It's really cool. I mean, it's a really, really cool lens, but yeah, those combinations, they're just like super special. But like, to your point, it's just, you go by, and this isn't necessarily a true like statement and stuff, but I do think it's one that sort of like lives true. And that is, you can't teach taste.
Right.
You know, I think I think like people can learn it. I mean, it's some things generally true all the time, but for the most part, you can't teach taste. And so it just like comes down to project, what's going to be best for the project. Every DP that's like, you know, knows what they're doing and stuff. Everyone says it. It's a project to project thing, you know? So can I like, would I like shoot every project on film? I guess like it would be cool to shoot every project on film. That's what people were doing for the first 100 years, you know, of cinema and stuff. But there's trade-offs, right? Like if you don't have a huge lighting budget for night exteriors and you're shooting a commercial, we have night exteriors and you have to shoot on film. It's like, there are going to be trade-offs. Like there's going to be big trade-offs too. Like in order to afford, like even like lighting those scenes, you know, like you may not be able to shoot on the lenses you necessarily want to shoot on, or art department may suffer, or so on and so forth. So when the jobs get to be really big, like a film has to be like worth it, you know? And a lot of times it is. I love film. Like if I have my preference, yeah, like I probably would shoot film more often than not. And that's kind of what I do, but I have so much fun. And like, I love like the digital sensors too. I think they like, there's great work that's done digitally, you know, like I remember seeing Theory of Everything that Benoit Dahome shot. And I was like, well, this is just like breathtaking. I think when I was like, I'm going to get like more, I'm going to now like experiment way more with digital cameras and stuff because this is just lit beautifully. Like I've never seen anything like so spectacular on digital.
Yeah. He did Amelie, right?
So like, what's that?
He did Amelie, right?
Amelie? Did he?
Amelie, the French. Benoit.
He's a French DP. I forget if he did.
Isn't it?
I know he did.
Amelie?
He did he did Theory of Everything. He doesn't do like, he actually doesn't do that many features. Apparently he's done like tons of shorts. He does tons of like commercials and beauty stuff, but I know he did Theory of Everything because I was just like, I never got a response on Instagram, but I remember like right now, I just want to let you know that film was just glorious looking. It was just amazing looking. I think the director that, I forget his name, but he directed the documentary Man on a Wire.
Sure. Yeah. Oscar winner.
Yeah. So he directed that documentary and then that was his first like narrative piece of fiction. But I just thought, I thought they did an amazing job. And Man on a Wire was also like just an emotionally beautiful documentary. Seeing that guy perform, you know, it was like, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Do you find that you light differently for digital and film?
Oh yeah.
What are those differences?
Well, like for example, like hard light on 16 on dark skin, like amazing. Like it can just like I remember a while ago, like I shot some like Wonderland piece with this photographer Micaiah Carter, and there was a still posted, and I remember like it's the first time I talked to Todd Von Hansel, and he hit me up. He's like, "What's the lighting setup on that?" And I was like, it's like an open. I was thinking I had like a 4K, like just straight up like with nothing on it, just blasting into talent. And I didn't really have that and stuff. Really, like that's what the photographer had, like shooting at like 1/3000th of a shutter or whatever. But it worked so well because she had like this just like great, like beautiful dark skin, and like the hard light just was like reflecting off of it, and you got even more texture from it, and the highlights translated in such a beautiful, different way. And if I was shooting digital, there's no way I would have been like, we got to diffuse this, guys. Like we got to double break this, if not triple, like before we like break it out and stuff. So I definitely in that sense, like film can take hard light. It can, like, I don't really ever overexpose digital, unless I want a little bit more beauty on one side of someone's face specifically. Like I may overexpose the digital negative like a tiny bit and stuff, but like with film, you can overexpose film. I remember by accident, like my focus puller on this like little project didn't turn the iris back to the appropriate stop when he had switched the lens. And so we had one take that was 4 stops over on 16, and we were pushing a stop.
Good. And
just for fun, I got it. It was a little muddy, so it's obviously going to get used and stuff, but I got everything all the way back.
Yeah.
Which is like, not to say you can't do it digitally, but it's just like like the details of film, it translates in such a different way. So, I mean, like, I think I'm more into hard light with film, and like more into soft light usually with digital, or at least like I probably won't put like hard light hitting like someone's face necessarily for like a long extended scene on digital, unless it like really called for it. It's hard to make everything like so cut and dry, because there's always those instances and stuff where you're talking with your director and you're like, actually, like, I think like just some hard light and stuff slashing across here, and like she'll get a little bounce from like, the table and stuff back onto her face, and this will be really nice and stuff. So there are like situations, but yeah, typically with film, it's like you just have more freedom with the lighting, I find. You have to work off of a meter. I don't find that to be an issue.
I still do. I don't know. It's somewhere around here, but yeah,
I have 3 of them.
I got 2.
3 of the
one
same
has
meter.
the spot,
Oh yeah, I don't want to like one, like my meter fell off like in the plane on some job, and I'm like, where's my meter? And then they found it. I had to go to the airport and get it. And it was a whole thing and stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna I'll spend another couple grand to get 2 more meters just to have,
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just use meters on digital too, because like I just, if I can start lighting and I don't have to wait for the camera to be set up, then I might as well just start lighting.
I've also found that I think this is a common annoyance, but people hovering over your shoulder trying to look at the monitor, like, well, why does it look like that? And you're like, I'm not done. So if you have the meter, you don't even set it, at least in my case, or smaller crews because documentary and shit, but like I can just start lighting without turning on the camera. And they're like, hey, is camera? I'm like, oh, it's built. I just didn't flick the switch on yet. I'm going to do this first. And then when I set up the camera, you look at it and be like, yep, see, there, we're done.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice because like on film, like jobs, it's like me and my gaffer are just working, and there's no like, and they just have that trust in you, or because they have no choice. Right.
So that is not going to tell them shit.
Really nice. No, right? I mean, the HD taps though, they do look pretty good. Like, they like I got Ollie Miller's Mothco tap on my 435, and it's a pretty nice HD tap. I got to be honest with you, but yeah, it's nice. We actually re-recorded some of this. I shot this jewelry commercial on some 200T, like I don't know, a week and a half ago, and we actually recorded the HD signal and stuff with the ground glass and stuff, and like I think it got used in one of the spots. So
that's cool. I mean, that's like the old school Red Rock and like lettuce adapters, where it was just a ground glass getting projected and the DVX would record it. It's basically that.
Yeah. It's cool. It's like fashion. Like that's what's kind of nice about fashion is like you're just looking for like these very unique moments where everything kind of comes together, and then all of a sudden you like feel it and you're like, okay, cool, we got it. It comes from it comes from like everything. I use this camera actually on it too. It's a little $40 mini cam I got off Instagram.
So, you got influenced.
It's got a little webcam chip in it.
Good.
So it looks like old Hi8. But yeah, I was like, I can rent it to the production for $5.
Great box rental.
Yeah, right. So they're all good. So yeah, it's just like different stuff works. I guess I just don't. I'm just not one of the DPs that sticks with a certain set of lenses all the time or a certain film stock all the time. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm perpetually trying to find my voice, or something, or perpetually trying to find like my home. Within the visual medium and stuff. But I'm just like, I think mostly it's like every project is its own thing. And, I want to explore like with my directors and explore with my team and stuff. And, I go back to lenses. I go back to master primes on film all the time because the combination works so well. I go back to K35s on digital all the time. Never afraid to try something new. I tried Tamashis on a 3-perf project. And just beautiful, like absolutely beautiful lenses. And like, so glad I tried because you would just never know. Like, they're just like, no one had really done it. And I was just like,
no one's spending the money for those tests.
Yeah. No one's, yeah. And so every like individual project, that's why I tell people just like, go shoot. Like, you think that like when you get onto like these Nike or Adidas campaigns and stuff, and sometimes you can do a lot. Sometimes there's a lot of creativity to be done. But you think when you get on these projects and stuff, like, oh, you're going to have all the freedom in the world and do what you want and stuff. Like a lot of those big Nike campaigns, the briefs tell you exactly how those things are going to be. And you don't have necessarily like all that much freedom. You have the most freedom when you're doing your own project because you're your boss. You're going to do as much as you want to do on it. You just have to you have to get to like the point and stuff where you have a whole career, like as a filmmaker and stuff. And then you're making the choice to go back and just do your own thing just because you love it and you want to, or you have some need to, and not like, I'm doing this by default because I have no other choice. I think that's probably like what people get stuck in is like, yeah, I get that, dude. But like, I'm not going and shooting like some like, $1 million commercial and then going and doing it and stuff. I'm just doing this and stuff. But I think like, if I could give like general advice to everyone, like trying to like be a cinematographer or just an artist in general, like the most freedom you're ever going to have is the stuff you do on your own.
Yeah. Everyone else is your boss.
Everyone else is your boss. Everyone else has an opinion. It's just always going to be a thing, but as far as the lighting thing goes, it's definitely, for the most part, it would be different, and digital and stuff. I probably diffuse a lot more, and I'm doing beauty work. I really want to pay attention to how that shows up, not only like when we go to color, but how it shows up like when people are viewing it in the moment and stuff. Like I don't want any commentary like, why does she not look like, I think she should look prettier, I think her skin should look smoother and stuff. Like I come in with like, this is like the plan that we're going to go with, and then we're going to tweak. But the general plan of lighting the space or lighting like, or maybe having to be like talent and light the space, like this is our general plan. Let's execute this, and then we can tweak, because we can tweak the fine details, because like you and me will see the fine details that'll give it that little extra and make it that little bit better. The reflection is like, could be a little bit better in her eyeball or something for an eye light or something like that, or something really small. But the general people, the people that are hiring us and paying us a great deal of money to do our jobs, we need to like make sure that they know that like we're taking care of business quickly. And that like by the time talent walks over the monitor and stuff, they're like, ooh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And stuff. Cause like that's, in the end of the day, like for me, like stuff breaks down into 3 categories: bad, good, and great. And I'd say probably about 95% of the stuff that's made, like, and I hate using the word content, I'm going to use it this once and stuff in this section, but all of content, movies, commercials, music videos, document, like 95% of it is bad.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean there aren't formulas for it. Doesn't mean there aren't markets for it. But generally speaking, it's not like, it's not good. And then there's about 4.5% that's good. And that's kind of like the worlds we're working in. We're working in this, like, these worlds where good is what we need to do by default. That's the expectation. When you get hired on one of these jobs, like, I don't care if the set burns down and the camera gets hit by the truck. I can still take my phone out and I can still make a beautiful image and I can still make sure we get it done and stuff, because that's what I'm being paid to do.
Right.
And then we're, as artists, we're striving for great. Like, we're always trying to reach like this like sense of like, oh, this project's great. Like, this looks amazing. Like, and it just happens once in a while when everyone's job just comes together and the timing of like the whole world is right. And it just hits in a certain way. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. It happens like once in a blue moon and stuff. But good should never be difficult to hit. You always need to just be able to do good work. It's not a choice. Because once one of the people that isn't like a cinematographer or a technical person at all starts to, like, it was on agency or client or studio or labor or whatever, starts to question the image and go, why does this look like this? You're in trouble.
Yeah. Some of my earlier stuff, because I was constantly coloring my own work, and I would shoot in such a way that I was giving myself, as Steve Yedlin says, like a good enough data set for which to manipulate in post. Having to tell clients that doesn't work. I know it looks kind of shit here, but when I get it in the grade, you're going to be like, wow, that never flies.
Right. It may work. It may work. Like, some people have said to me, like, oh, well, like, you work with Janusz would just do this and stuff, like, and I'm sure like it would be fine. And I go, yeah. And I go, because Janusz is Janusz and I'm just Quinn.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
I'm Quinny, he's Janusz. We're kind of separate worlds. I can't tell the director and the agency and stuff, like, no, this will be good. Just trust me. I've won 2 Academy Awards and shot every Spielberg film for the past 35 years. It don't work for me, so I can't just do that stuff. I need like proof, the proof's got to be in the pudding. Like, I don't have that type of flexibility. I'm sure the agency doesn't question Roger Deakins.
Right. Yeah. You know what? Like, I bet some of them do too. I bet you hire a Deakins or whoever, and then they're like, we love everything you've ever done. Now for this one, can we just, it's always, can we just?
They did it with I did some commercial in Tahiti with Doug Lyman like a long time ago. I was like doing like the BTS and like some of the SEC unit stuff, and he took my camera because it was like a 9 camera job, but I was the only freestanding camera because we're out in the ocean at Chopu in Tahiti, and he takes in the agencies, and then they're wondering if you can make it a little bit more like sort of fluid and product sensitive, and Doug just goes, guys, I'm going to shoot it how I'm going to shoot it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so. And I'm just like, damn, like, as I'm hanging off the boat with one arm, trying to pull focus off the barrel as he's like going all over the place and stuff. But it's just like, it's true. Like, you guys hired Doug Lyman and you're paying him probably like $1 million to do this commercial. He's just like telling you what you should just already know. He's going to do what he's going to do and stuff because this is who you hired. Yeah.
Well, and I find that, like, sort of more globally, like, the more that I think a lot of, I'm just going to put clients in big air quotes, but there's a lot of people who have probably good taste or are very smart filmmakers in their own right, and this kind of goes back to your point of making sure when they look at the monitor, they don't have questions. The more that they try to get you as the DP to do something, the more it knocks you out of your flow state, and then you will fail. If they leave you alone to just get into your own rhythm, and this stuff gets better, but the more they interrupt your thought process and go, could you just like it, you end up second guessing. It's like going to a baseball player and getting in their ear while they're ready to swing, and you're like, okay, do it now. They're not going to be like, I know how to swing. Stop. Like,
yeah, it's I think the thing is, like, our jobs like are really cool. Like, they're super fun.
Yeah.
Like, we get to do these like super fun special jobs. I always feel really lucky I get to do it, like for a living. But, the agency's job, like being on the agency, like they have a lot of work to do with the creative, when they're developing the creative and selling to the client and stuff. After that, most of their work is done. and stuff. And they want to be also involved in the filmmaking process. And I will say there have been times and stuff where people in the agency have had really good ideas that have helped the spot,
Sure. Yeah.
But there are times where it's like, where, they're messing with something that they don't really know how it works, like I'm hanging up a branch of Loris or something and stuff and just like trying to create some shadows and it's not in place yet and stuff. And they go, well, I think you should get a bigger branch. Why don't we go why don't you have a bigger branch and stuff? Because a bigger branch will do this. And and I'll be like, well, that's not really what we're going for. And then that's going to be out of frame. And then it's going to look like, like the trees all over the place and it's going to start getting in the way of talent. And then before you know it, it's like you're explaining yourself to them and stuff. And I think like people just want to be involved in the process to a certain extent. So I don't necessarily but it's like I never dig into the creative. I go, you know what? Why don't we shift the creative a little bit and stuff? I have an idea here.
Right.
All right. Tell me what you think. Because it's not my place to do it. And it gets in the way of the collaboration. I mean, it's kind of all. The thing is, it's all collaboration too. Like everyone kind of has like a purpose there, and like at least the last like 4 years for me, I've just been like, you know what? There are times where, like certain jobs, certain like projects and stuff, like they center around certain things. I find, like sometimes it is the lensing and I need like a lot of lenses to do what I need to do. But sometimes it's like I did a period like piece music video, like where like they were like redoing the JFK assassination. And like, I remember just being like, I'll shoot it on like just a regular Alexa. Like I don't need an Alexa, like LF, like let's just shoot on the regular Alexa. And like, let's just I'll just use 3 lenses and a zoom. Like I don't need 9 lenses. Like, because we need to have more money for wardrobe. Because if the wardrobe isn't good, then like the period piece does not play. It doesn't matter how old of a lens I get. Right. If we don't have enough like people in the frame and stuff, it was not going to matter. People aren't going to go, oh wow, that lens is like, it looks so amazing and stuff. So glad Quinn got that really old lens on there, and we sacrificed 20 extras for it. It's like, no, it's like you gotta like. There's sometimes where you gotta be like, no, I can do it with 2 lenses because like it's going to be more important for art department to have this. Or like I remember giving some of my money on this grinder campaign to art department and being like to the EP, I said, I just want to make sure this gets to art department. And she was like super happy that I was like, willing to do it. And she was super nice about it. She was actually really great EP and stuff, did like an amazing job on that commercial. I can't wait to work with her again. But I gave it to them because I needed more practicals in the frame. Like, and the practicals were going to help my frame. And if I I could have had a little bit more money and I could have probably gotten like, another lens I wanted, but like the practicals in the frame and like the opinion from the production designer and stuff and being able to get that and stuff is going to be way more helpful to the overall like feel and the overall image we're going for and the overall story we're trying to tell and stuff. And sometimes you just have to be like, because we spend the most, like DPs like generally spend the most money after above the line is kind of, taken care of and stuff. We spend a great deal of money and stuff. And sometimes you just have to be like, you know what? We got to spend it elsewhere and stuff because it's going to be helpful for us. Like it's going to make our image better and make our work look better and stuff. Because everyone thinks on like smaller sets when you're first starting, everyone thinks they have the most important job and everyone thinks they're doing the most important thing, and sometimes, I mean, you always want your work to be really good and stuff. So you have to like sort of have that and stuff. But sometimes you got to be like, you know what? Like production design really like this is going to make this so much better. Maybe there's something I can do. And since it's going to help me and stuff, maybe we don't need both the zoom lenses. Like I got a 24 to 290. Do I need a 17 to 80 just because it's a stop faster? Like, like if I'm on digital, I just raise the ISO. We're all good. It's like, there are certain I think there are appropriate compromises that I think in a lot of ways have made my work significantly better. And because like you're willing to sort of make those compromises, it makes the collaboration a lot smoother and a lot like more sort of cheerful and joyful of a collaboration, where it's like all of a sudden like they're not arguing for $500 because I'm just like, I get you guys are tight and stuff. Like, we have a really good camera package and the camera house is happy and stuff. And like, I don't need this extra thing. Like I can save like $400, but I really like production design needs this, like whatever needs these lamps and stuff, like, and they want these and stuff. And I think it's going to like look a lot better. So I will get that zoom. It'll still be really good.
Yeah. Well, and compromising, again, big air quotes, with production design is hardly a compromise for DPs. That's usually like, you know, you want something interesting to shoot.
Yeah,
Use any camera
I've done it
as
for
long as production
wardrobe.
design's good, or wardrobe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've done it for wardrobe. I've done it for makeup before. I did for like I didn't do it for sound. I took my shoes off for an entire day and stuff because my shoes were making a weird sound as I operated. So I operated in my socks for like the whole day because I wanted the sound like quality to be better.
You know what I did is I bought those because again, documentary, I end up doing my own sound a lot of the time. And so I'm learning all these like sound problems that exist and shit. But they I think they're called like hush heels or something, but they make like rubber pads that you stick onto shoes so that they don't.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And so I just bought a set of those. I'll text you the link to them because they're yeah. And you get to keep your save your back.
Yeah, save your back, save my knees. 2 knees is deep.
Yeah. Well, the hour has absolutely flown by, but it was so phenomenal talking to you, man. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be able to chat soon. I'm sure I can see you around town.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's do something really. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I love riffing, man. It's just super fun.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't get paid to do this. I'm doing it for the love of the game, man.
Oh yeah, totally. Sorry we didn't get to the project. Sometimes I feel like when two DPs talk, it's just like it can be endless,
And I've also the kind of secret of this show is that like it's not really about the projects. It's about the people.
Yeah, right.
Like I only list the movie they did because that's what the PR people want me to. That Instagram post is the ad. The discussion is for the people listening. And if it's some crazy cool movie, yeah, okay. Even when we talked about Avatar, like we barely talked about Avatar.
Yeah, I honestly, I from most episodes I hear it's really just like because it's hard, like because you talk about like, oh, why'd you use these lenses and stuff? Some people are like, why'd you use why do you like Super 16 anamorphic so much? I can explain why I like Super 16 anamorphic so much, but I use those lenses because they're the only lenses that do it.
Yeah. Or like another big one is like, and it sucks because I always want to learn more about lighting and stuff and like what other people are doing. But 9 times out of 10, you're like, well, how'd you light that? And they're like, top light, big soft source to the left. You can't fill an hour with that.
Yeah, right. It's like asking, like I've like been to like lighting demos and stuff, and like the guys doing lighting demos like, does anyone have any questions? Someone will ask like 1 or 2 questions. I'm like, but really, there's no other questions. I'm just thinking like, what do you want me to ask?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what else to ask about this light. I mean, like I could ask you, can I use it to shoot like? Can I use it to light like a giraffe? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a light. Like I don't have any more questions on it. It looks like a really good light, and I can't wait to use it and stuff. I just don't know like how many more questions I can. Yeah, like in the lighting setups, it's like, why did you light this way and stuff? Sometimes, and that's this thing. Did you see that David Bowie documentary?
No.
I forget what it was called exactly. It was really good. I think a director in Iconoclast did it. And David Bowie was able to like very like almost analytically break down his process and like his art in a way and stuff. And he had a long time, to figure that out and do that. And I feel like a lot of the times, like when I'll talk to people, it's like, sometimes I can break it down, and like tell you like why I did something specifically, for a reason. But sometimes it's just like, it just felt right because it's just art, and that's kind of the beauty of it and stuff. And you just have to like feel it. You just have to feel it in your bones and just feel it in your heart. And that's kind of why it happens. And I know that that's not like the most helpful, answer for you guys or the most helpful like suggestion and stuff, but that's just the way it is sometimes, it's like, why use a certain lens? It's because I put them on and it felt right. And this is why I did it.
Yeah. Well, and also I think the secret that I've learned over the years is, you can learn, people can tell you how they shot something or whatever, but even like going back and reading old, like I just got, this type of stuff. This came out in like what, the 80s or some shit? Maybe not.
Yeah, like 80s.
This is.
I think it's 88.
You find 95?
Oh wow, that was 88.
Whatever. But in any case, stuff like this, you end up seeing that the main lesson for any DP is to feel. Storaro's book is just him talking about like emotion. It's not like, how do you light this? Because that's easy. Anyone can light a thing after a minute, but how to feel. And kind of with this whole project, with the podcast, I've always kind of been like, if someone listens to it enough, they'll start to notice that almost no conversation really goes into technique, because that you can learn that on YouTube. It's about the type of person that is making it that is important, and hopefully it'll embolden people to be themselves and trust themselves and feel emotionally and connect with the art in that way versus trying to force it.
It's totally true. It's totally true too. And I think at a certain point, like 6-7 years in, I was like, I'm just gonna be myself because it's easier.
Yeah.
Like it's just like like I am who I am. I always want to I always have this thing for progression and always progressing like on all fronts and moving forward on all fronts. But I just, I'm just like a happy person that just likes hanging out with good people and like making great work. And like, I just be myself. I have things that I like that maybe other people don't like, or maybe like bigger DPs that like I looked up to at one point and stuff wouldn't have done and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, this is who I am. This is how I see things and stuff. This is how I like to collaborate. Like, and it's just easier to be yourself and stuff. So, I mean, like, and that's like what you should be, because people are like, if I was trying to be like Janusz all the time and stuff, because I worked with Janusz, like, I mean, like they can go hire Janusz,
right.
Like Janusz already exists, so it's like you can, and like, you're always doing original work, because in that moment and stuff, no one's doing that, like that thing that you're doing, you're collaborating with your director and you guys are doing that thing together and stuff. And so that moment is like unique in itself, and just like, being there and just being present and just enjoying the journey. Like, cause like, honestly, like there was times where I was just like always thinking about the next job, like the bigger job or something. And I'm just like, about 6 or 7 years ago, I was just like, why am I like worried about the next job? Like, why don't I just like be happy about doing this job and just like be in the moment with like the collaborators I have right now. Like, and it just has been like a much happier, better way of living and just going through life. Just not even in jobs. Like I now like try to talk to strangers and just like talk to people just daily, just because like I like talking to people. And like, honestly, like a lot of people don't have fun jobs. And if you talk to them, like they're just human beings, and just like, have a little chat with them and stuff, makes their day better too.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, man, I appreciate it, dude. This is super fun. All right, man.
Yeah.
Have a good day, dude.
You too, brother. Stay in touch.
Yeah. Later, dude.
Bye.
Frame and Reference is an Owlbot production, produced and edited by me, Kenny McMillan. If you'd like to support the podcast directly, you can do so by going to frameandrefpod.com and clicking on the Patreon button. It's always appreciated, and as always, thanks for listening.